The great chamber of the Galactic Council stretched high above the gathered representatives. Thousands of species filled the curved seats that rose in circles around the central platform. Lights from different suns filtered through the dome above, casting colors that no human eye had seen before Earth joined the stars. Taesung stood on the platform, his hands clasped behind his back. He wore the simple gray uniform of Earth's diplomatic corps. His face showed no emotion as he watched the aliens debate above him. Some had scales. Others had fur or skin that glowed. A few floated in tanks of liquid. All of them were talking about humanity. "The humans are dangerous," said Elder Vexler. The ancient Silvari looked like a tree that had learned to walk. His bark-like skin was gray with age, and his voice sounded like wind through leaves. "We must warn the younger species about what they can become." Taesung had heard this speech before. The council always said the same things. Humans were violent. Humans fought wars. Humans built weapons that could destroy their own planet. All of this was true. Taesung never denied it. Standing beside him, Jiwoo shifted her weight. She was younger than Taesung, with sharp eyes that missed nothing. Before becoming his military advisor, she had led special forces missions in places most people never heard about. She understood violence better than anyone in this chamber, even the warrior races. "Look at their history," Vexler continued. His branches moved as he spoke, pointing to the hologram floating above the platform. Images of Earth appeared, wars, bombs, cities burning. They nearly destroyed themselves a dozen times. Nuclear weapons. Chemical warfare. They poisoned their own air and water. Some of the younger species whispered to each other. They looked at Taesung with fear. Good, he thought. Fear kept people careful, but not everyone was afraid. "This is foolishness," a rough voice boomed across the chamber. Commander Kreth stood from his seat. The Krell were massive beings, twice as tall as humans, with thick armor plating that covered their bodies like natural shields. Their forearms ended in claws that could tear through steel. "The humans are weak. They barely reach the stars. Their weapons are primitive." Kreth walked down the steps toward the platform. Each footstep echoed through the chamber. Other Krell warriors followed him. They wore battle armor decorated with marks from conquered worlds. "We have studied the humans," Kreth said, stopping at the edge of the platform. He looked down at Taesung. "Their largest ships are smaller than our escorts. Their plasma weapons are generations behind ours. They have no energy shields, no jump gate technology of their own. They borrowed everything from the council." Taesung met Kreth's eyes but said nothing. Guwu's jaw tightened, but she remained still. "The Krell Dominion has conquered 3 systems in the past year," Kreth continued, turning to address the council. 3 species that were stronger than humans? They had better technology. Larger fleets? They still fell before us. He gestured dismissively at Taesung. "And you want us to fear these newcomers? Because they fought each other with chemical bombs centuries ago?" Some species in the council murmured agreement. The Krell had become powerful quickly. Their military strength impressed many of the younger races. They respected force. Elder Vexler raised one branch-like arm. "Commander Kreth, you misunderstand the warning. We do not fear humans because of their weapons. We fear them because of what they survived. A species that can recover from nuclear war, that can rebuild from global disasters, that can unite a planet torn by hatred. Such a species should not be underestimated." "Then they are good at surviving," Kreth laughed. It sounded like rocks grinding together. "But survival is not strength. The strong do not simply survive. They conquer. They expand. They take what they need." He turned back to Taesung. "Tell me, human, how many worlds have you conquered since joining the council?" Taesung finally spoke. His voice was quiet, but it carried through the chamber. None," Kreth repeated, spreading his forearms wide. "You see? They are weak. They preach peace and cooperation because they cannot take what they want by force." He stepped closer to the platform. "The council warns us to fear you. I see nothing to fear. I see a species that needed the Council's charity to reach the stars. You are children playing at being adults. Wu took a small step forward. Taesung touched her arm lightly, stopping her. Not yet. Not here, Commander Kreth, Vexter said, his voice heavy with concern. The humans have been peaceful members of the Council for 5 years. They have shared their medical knowledge freely. They have helped rebuild stations damaged in the Sector 7 collapse. They have been good neighbors. Because they have no choice, Kreth interrupted. They smile and bow and offer help because they are weak. If they were strong, they would take what they wanted, like the Krell do. He looked around the chamber. I propose the Council stop wasting time on warnings about humans. They are harmless. Instead, we should discuss real threats. Taesung watched as several species nodded. The Krell had allies. Species that admired their strength and wanted to be on their side when they grew stronger. Politics always worked the same way, even among the stars. Elder Vexler looked at Taesung. Ambassador, do you wish to respond? Taesung considered the question. He could defend humanity. He could list their achievements, their technology, their growing fleet. He could remind the Council that humans had developed faster than light travel independently, even if they had refined it with Council help. He could talk about the orbital shipyards, the colony worlds, the expanding economy, but he did none of these things. No, Taesung said simply. Commander Kreth is entitled to his opinion. The chamber fell silent. Even Kreth seemed surprised. He had expected an argument, a defense. Instead, the human simply accepted the insult. Wise of you to know your place, Kreth said. He turned away from the platform, dismissing Taesung entirely. Ji Woo leaned close to Taesung. She kept her voice low enough that only he could hear. We should say something. No need, Taesung whispered back. He will learn soon enough. The Council session continued. They discussed trade agreements and border disputes. They argued about mining rights in the neutral zones. Through it all, Taesung stood quietly on the platform, his face showing nothing. When the session finally ended, Taesung and Ji Woo walked through the curved corridors of the Council station. Other species moved past them, some nodding respectfully, others avoiding eye contact after Kreth's speech. That was humiliating, Ji Woo said when they were alone. He called us weak in front of the entire Council. He believes we are weak, Taesung replied. Many of them do. Let them believe it. We could show them what? Taesung stopped walking and looked at her. Our military strength? Our weapons development? The fleets we have been building in secret? No, let them think we are harmless. It is safer that way. Wu shook her head. I do not like it. You do not have to like it. You just have to trust it. Taesung started walking again. The Council warned them about us. Elder Vexter understands what we are. But some species need to learn through experience. They reached their ship docked at the station's port. It was small, fast, designed for diplomacy rather than combat. As they boarded, a message arrived on Taesung's communication device. He read it and his expression darkened. What is it? Ji Woo asked. Krell ships have entered human space, Taesung said quietly. Near the new Pyongyang colony. He looked up at her. It seems Commander Kreth wants to test his theories about human weakness. Kiwo's hand moved to the weapon at her side. Do we return to Earth? No, Taesung said. He sat down at the communication console. We stay here and monitor the situation. Captain Donha commands the defense frigate in that system. He will handle it. Can one frigate stop a Krell fleet? Taesung smiled for the first time since the Council session. It was not a pleasant smile. Let us see if Commander Kreth truly understands what he faces. The Council tried to warn him. He chose not to listen. 3 days had passed since the Council session. 3 days since Kreth had declared humans weak and harmless. 3 days since he had mocked the idea of fearing humanity. Now, 12 Krell warships surrounded the new Pyongyang system, and one small human frigate stood between them and the colony. Taesung watched the sensor feeds from the Council station. Beside him, Jiwoo stood silent, her hands clasped behind her back in a military stance. "It begins," Taesung said softly. The galaxy was about to learn why the Council had issued its warning. Some lessons, he knew, had to be learned the hard way. Captain Dongha sat in his command chair aboard the defense frigate Indomitable. The bridge was small, built for efficiency rather than comfort. 6 crew members worked at their stations, monitoring sensors and weapon systems. Outside the viewports, the new Pyongyang system looked peaceful. 3 mining stations orbited the colony world, harvesting minerals from the asteroid belt. It would not stay peaceful much longer. "Captain, 12 Krell warships just dropped out of faster-than-light travel," said the sensor officer. Her name was Haijin, and she had served with Dongha for 3 years. She was the best engineer in the fleet, but today she works sensors. "They are moving into formation around the colony." Dongha studied the tactical display. 12 ships. Each one was 3 times larger than the Indomitable. Their weapons could tear his frigate apart in seconds. By all military logic, he should retreat immediately and call for reinforcements. But Dongha had never followed standard military logic. "Open a communication channel," he ordered. "Channel open." "Sir," replied Sun Min at the communications station. The young weapons officer was fresh out of the academy, barely 25 years old. This was his first real crisis. "Krell Fleet, this is Captain Dongha of the Earth Defense Force ship Indomitable. You have entered human-controlled space without authorization. Please state your intentions." For a moment, there was only silence. Then the communication screen lit up with Commander Kreth's face. The Krell commander looked even larger on the screen, his armored face filling the display. "Captain Dongha," Kreth said, his voice dripping with contempt. "I am Commander Kreth of the Krell Dominion. My intentions are simple. Your colony will surrender immediately. You will provide us with all mining resources from this system. You will acknowledge Krell authority over this space. If you refuse, we will take what we want by force." Dongha kept his expression neutral. "Commander Kreth, this system is recognized as human territory by the Galactic Council. Your demands violate Council law." Kreth laughed. "Council law means nothing here. You are far from Council space, far from help. You have 1 small ship. I have 12 warships. The mathematics are simple, even for humans. I must respectfully decline your demands," Dongha said calmly. "Please withdraw from this system, or we will be forced to defend our territory." "You? Defend?" Kreth leaned forward on the screen. "You are either very brave or very stupid. I will show you what happens to those who refuse the Krell Dominion." The screen went dark. "Captain, one of the Krell ships is moving," Haijin reported. Her voice was tight with tension. "Targeting the mining station Delta." Dongha watched the tactical display. The mining station was small, unarmed, designed only for resource extraction. 200 people worked there. Scientists, engineers, families. "Hail the station," Dongha ordered. "Emergency evacuation," he never finished the sentence. The Krell warship fired. A single blast of plasma energy hit the station's reactor core. The explosion lit up the viewports like a small sun. Then there was nothing. No station. No people. Just debris floating in the darkness. The bridge of the Indomitable went silent. 200 people. Gone in an instant. Just to make a point, Seung-min turned pale. His hands shook on his control panel. Haijin closed her eyes briefly, then opened them again. Her expression hard as steel. Dongha felt a cold rage settle over him. He had expected violence. The Krell were warriors. But destroying an unarmed civilian station as a demonstration? That went beyond warfare. That was murder. The communication screen lit up again. Kreth smiled, showing teeth designed for tearing flesh. "That was your warning. Surrender now, or your colony is next. You have 1 minute to decide." Dongha stared at the screen, at Kreth's smug expression. At the casual way, the Krell commander had just killed 200 innocent people. Then he smiled. It was not a nice smile. It was the smile of someone who had been waiting for this moment. Someone who had prepared for it. Commander Kreth, Donga said quietly. You made a mistake coming here. The Galactic Council warned you to fear humans. You should have listened. Kreth's smile faded. What? Dongha cut the communication. Hai-Jin, activate the defense grid, he ordered. Sung-min, signal the fleet. Tell them it is time. Sir? Sung-min looked confused. What fleet? Dongha stood from his command chair. The one that has been waiting in the asteroid belt for the past 3 months. The one we knew the Krell would eventually attack. The fleet they cannot see on their sensors because human cloaking technology is better than they thought. Across the system, 12 human warships powered up their engines. They had been hiding in the asteroid field, their hulls covered with stealth plating, their reactors running cold. Invisible to Krell sensors. Waiting for this exact moment, the Krell had expected to find one small frigate defending a helpless colony. Instead, they faced 13 human warships and a defense network that had been built specifically to stop an invasion. All ships, this is Captain Dongha. Execute Plan Ironside. For the 200. For the 200, echoed across every human ship in the system. The Krell fleet reacted quickly. Credit where it was due, they were experienced warriors. When the human ships appeared on their sensors, they immediately moved into a defensive formation. Their plasma weapons charged. Their shields activated, but they were too slow. The first attack came from the asteroid field itself. Hai-Jin had spent months placing railgun platforms throughout the belt, disguised as mining equipment. Now those platforms opened fire. Solid projectiles accelerated to a fraction of light speed streaked across space. No energy signature to warn the Krell, no time to dodge. 3 Krell ships took direct hits. Their shields absorbed some of the damage, but the kinetic energy was enormous. Armor plating cracked. Hull breaches vented atmosphere into space. Weapons free? Dongha ordered. The Indomitable and its sister ships opened fire with everything they had. Missiles, railguns, laser batteries. The human ships moved through the asteroid field like sharks through water, using the rocks for cover. Appearing and disappearing from Krell sensors, the Krell tried to return fire, but their large ships were designed for open space combat. The asteroids blocked their shots. When they moved to find clear firing lanes, human ships appeared behind them, hitting them from unexpected angles. This is not honorable combat. Commander Kreth's voice came over the emergency channel. His ship shook from another hit. You fight like cowards. Dongha listened to the transmission but did not respond. Honorable combat. The Krell talked about honor while they destroyed unarmed stations. While they murdered civilians as warnings. Captain, Krell Ship 7 is moving to flank us, Hai-Jin reported. She had returned to her engineering station, rerouting power as needed. They are charging main weapons. Sung-min, target their reactor core, Dongha ordered. Hai-Jin, I need all available power to forward railguns. You will lose shields, Hai-Jin warned. Do it, the Indomitable turned directly toward the attacking Krell ship. It was twice the frigate's size, its weapons glowing with building plasma energy. In a straight fight, the human ship would lose, but Dongha was not planning a straight fight. Fire, he ordered. The railgun projectile crossed the distance in less than a second. It punched through the Krell ship's forward shields, weakened by the earlier bombardment. Straight through the armor. Into the reactor core, the Krell ship exploded from within. The plasma energy meant for the Indomitable released all at once, tearing the warship apart. Target destroyed, Sung-min reported. His hands no longer shook. His voice was steady now. War did that to people. Either it broke them or it made them harder. Krell fleet is trying to retreat, Hai-Jin said. 4 ships are moving toward the edge of the system. Let them go, Dongha said. Focus fire on the ships that remain. For 2 hours, the battle raged through the asteroid field. The Krell learned quickly. They adapted their tactics. They started using their own ships for cover. They coordinated their fire. They were good warriors. But humans had learned warfare on a planet where they fought each other for thousands of years. Every tactic the Krell tried, humans had used before. Every strategy had a counter. Every move had been anticipated. One by one, the Krell ships fell. Some exploded. Others limped away with critical damage. By the time silence returned to the system, 8 Krell warships were destroyed or disabled. 4 had escaped, including Commander Kreth's flagship, damaged but still operational. Dong Da stood on his bridge looking at the tactical display. Red icons marked the destroyed Krell ships. Yellow icons showed the damaged ones. Green icons showed the human fleet. They had lost no ships, though several were damaged. 23 crew members were injured. None dead, 200 civilians killed. 12 Krell warships engaged. 8 destroyed or disabled. Sir, Sunbin said quietly, we are receiving a transmission from Ambassador Taesung at the council station. Put him through. Taesung's face appeared on the screen. He looked tired. Captain Dongha, report. The Krell fleet has been repelled, Ambassador. 8 ships destroyed, 4 retreated. The colony is secure. Taesung nodded slowly. Casualties? 200 civilians killed when the Krell destroyed Mining Station Delta, 23 of our crew injured. No deaths in the defense force. 200, Taesung repeated. His expression hardened. Commander Kreth? News of the battle at New Pyongyang spread through the galaxy like fire through dry grass. Every species heard the story. The Krell Dominion, mighty conquerors of 3 star systems, had attacked a small human colony. 12 warships against 1 frigate and a mining settlement. The outcome should have been obvious, but 8 Krell ships were destroyed. The humans had 1 dot in the Great Chamber of the Galactic Council. Representatives from hundreds of worlds gathered for an emergency session. The air was thick with tension. Some species celebrated the Krell defeat. Others worried about what would come next. A few quietly began planning how to divide human territory when the inevitable Krell revenge came, because everyone knew the Krell would come back. Warriors like them could not accept defeat. Their pride would demand blood. Elder Vexter stood at the center platform. His ancient voice carried through the chamber. The council warned Commander Kreth. We told him that humans were dangerous. He chose not to listen. Now we face the consequences of his arrogance. The humans used dishonest tactics, protested a Krell representative. This one was different from Kreth, older, wearing diplomatic robes instead of battle armor. They hid their ships. They attacked from ambush. They used the asteroids for cover like cowards. Ambassador Taesung, watching from Earth's delegation seat, almost smiled. The Krell called it dishonest. Humans called it tactics. The difference between the two explained why the battle had ended as it did. The Krell destroyed an unarmed civilian station, countered a representative from the peaceful Drayan species. 200 innocents died. Was that honorable? Arguments broke out across the chamber. Species took sides. The warrior races generally supported the Krell, seeing humans as weak for using tricks instead of facing the enemy directly. The peaceful species supported humanity, seeing them as defenders against aggression. The merchant species simply calculated which side offered better trade opportunities. Politics, Taesung thought. Even facing war, they argued about honor and tradition instead of addressing the real problem. The real problem was simple. The Krell would not stop. They would gather every ship they had and come for Earth itself. His communication device vibrated. A message from Earth? From Admiral Boara? He read it quickly, then stood and requested permission to speak. The human ambassador wishes to address the council. Elder Vexler announced. Taesung walked to the central platform. He looked around at the assembled species. Some watched with curiosity, others with fear, a few with barely hidden contempt. Members of the council, he began, I will not defend our tactics at New Pyongyang. We fought to protect our people using every advantage we had. We will not apologize for surviving. Murmurs ran through the chamber. However, I must inform the council of new developments. Our intelligence division has intercepted Krell military communications. A fleet of 200 warships is being assembled. Their destination is Earth. They plan to invade our home system within 2 weeks. The chamber erupted. 200 ships. It was the largest Krell military operation in a generation. Some species demanded the Council intervene. Others said it was an internal matter. Between humans and Krell, a few quietly began, calculating how long humanity would last against such a force. 200 ships. Against your entire defense fleet, said the Krell diplomat. You have perhaps 50 warships total. Maybe 70 if you count your patrol boats. The mathematics are clear. Surrender now and the Krell High Command may show mercy. Taesung looked at the Krell diplomat for a long moment. Then he said something that surprised everyone. We decline. On Earth, in the headquarters of the United Defense Council, Admiral Biora stood before a holographic display of the solar system. She was 53 years old, gray-haired, with eyes that had seen 3 colonial wars and the Titan Station disaster. She was the finest military mind humanity had produced in a generation. Around her, the Defense Council members waited. Politicians, generals, civilian leaders, all of them frightened, all of them looking to her for answers. 200 Krell warships will be here in less than 2 weeks, Biora said calmly. They will expect to find Earth defended by 50 to 70 ships. They will expect orbital platforms and ground-based weapons. They will expect us to defend and eventually lose. Can we win? Asked the civilian defense minister. His name was Jae Hyun, a former colony governor promoted after the new Pyongyang attack. Win? Biora smiled. It was not a pleasant smile. Minister, we are not planning to just win. We are planning to break them. She pressed a control and the holographic display changed. New icons appeared throughout the solar system. Hundreds of them. For 5 years we have been preparing for this, Biora explained. Since we joined the Galactic Council, we knew someone would eventually test us. We have spent that time studying every species, every conflict, every battle. We learned from the Selvari Civil War. We learned from the Krell conquests. We learned from the Drayan defense of their homeworld. And we applied those lessons with human innovation. The display showed shipyards hidden on the far side of Mars, construction facilities in the asteroid belt, assembly stations near Jupiter's moons, all of them invisible to casual scans. All of them protected by the same cloaking technology that had hidden the fleet at New Pyongyang. We let the Council think we have 70 ships, Biora continued. The truth is we have 347 frigates, destroyers, carriers, and 12 dreadnoughts built using advanced designs. We have been building in secret, testing new weapons, developing new strategies, all while playing the role of peaceful newcomers. Jae Hyun stared at the display. 347 ships. How did you hide this? The shipyards are in deep space, away from trade routes. The materials were gathered slowly from dozens of sources. The crews were trained on remote stations, and everyone involved understood the need for secrecy. There are highlighted several points in the solar system. We also have the Sol defense grid, weapon platforms at every strategic point, missile batteries, railgun arrays, energy weapons, and a few surprises the Krell have never seen before. What kind of surprises? Asked General J1, commander of Earth's ground forces. He was a practical man who believed in preparation and overwhelming force, the kind that come from having a planet full of people who have been inventing new ways to kill each other for thousands of years. Biora replied. We may be new to space warfare, but we are very, very old at the business of war itself. She changed the display again. Now it showed personnel files. Thousands of them. Meet our other secret weapon. Intelligence Officer Kyung-soo and his Cyber Warfare Division. For 5 years, they have been infiltrating alien computer networks. Not attacking, just watching, learning. They can speak 17 alien languages fluently. They have hacked into Krell military databases. They know Krell battle doctrine better than most Krell commanders. Kyung-soo himself stood in a corner of the room, quiet and unassuming. He was thin, wore thick glasses, and looked nothing like a warrior. But his work had saved more lives than any soldier. "When the Krell arrive," Burra said, "we will know their formations before they form them. We will know their tactics before they use them. We will see their communications before their commanders do. They will be fighting blind while we see everything." "And if we still lose?" Jae-hyun asked quietly. "If 200 ships are too many," Burra's expression hardened, "then we make sure the cost is so high that no other species ever attacks us again. We turn this system into a graveyard. We fight until we have nothing left. And we make certain the galaxy remembers that humans do not surrender." The room fell silent. Every person there understood what she meant. If Earth fell, it would fall in a way that terrified every species in the galaxy. Sometimes the best defense was making yourself too expensive to kill. "How long until the Krell arrive?" General Jae-won asked. 12 days, Kyung-soo spoke for the first time. His voice was soft but certain. "Their fleet is assembling at their forward base in Sector 8. Commander Kreth is leading the attack personally. He wants revenge for New Pyongyang." "Good," Burra said. "Angry commanders make mistakes. And we need him to make mistakes." Over the next 12 days, Earth transformed. Ships moved into position throughout the solar system. The defense grid activated. Ground forces deployed to protect major cities and strategic installations. Civilians were evacuated from orbital stations to underground shelters. Everyone knew what was coming. On the 12th day, long-range sensors detected the Krell fleet. 200 warships, just as predicted. They dropped out of faster than light travel at the edge of the solar system and began their approach to Earth. Commander Kreth broadcast on all frequencies. His image appeared on every screen, every communication device, every diplomatic channel. "Humans of Earth, I am Commander Kreth of the Krell Dominion. You have attacked Krell warriors. You have destroyed our ships through treachery and dishonor. Now you will face the full might of the Krell military. Surrender immediately and we will show mercy. Your leaders will be tried for war crimes. Your military will be disbanded. Your colonies will become Krell territory. This is generous. Refuse and we will reduce your world to ash." Admiral Burra watched the broadcast from her command ship, the indomitable Hamar, named in honor of Captain Dong-ha's frigate. The Battle of Earth lasted 3 days. 3 days of fire and steel in the void of space. 3 days that changed the galaxy forever. Admiral Burra commanded from the bridge of the indomitable Hammer as human ships engaged the Krell fleet. The battle was chaos and precision at once. Ships exploded. Weapons fire crossed space at the speed of light. Men and women died on both sides, but the humans had planned for this. Every tactic, every strategy. Nothing was left to chance. "Krell command ship taking damage," reported the tactical officer. "Their shields are failing." "Focus fire," Burra ordered. "Take out their leadership." 3 human dreadnoughts concentrated their weapons on the Krell flagship. Railgun rounds punched through weakened shields. Missiles found gaps in the armor. The flagship exploded, taking Commander Kreth's second-in-command with it. Throughout the fleet, Kyung-soo's cyber attacks continued. Krell ships received false targeting data. Their formation broke apart as ships moved according to corrupted orders. Friendly fire incidents increased as sensors showed allies as enemies. On the ground, General Jae-won prepared for Krell landing attempts. The enemy sent drop ships toward Earth's surface, trying to establish beachheads in major cities. But human defenses were ready. Anti-air weapons tracked the incoming ships. Fighter craft intercepted them. Ground forces waited with weapons specifically designed to penetrate Krell armor. The few drop ships that reached the surface found themselves surrounded by combined forces of mechanized infantry, drones, and artillery. In Seoul, a Krell landing force of 200 warriors crashed near the old city center. They expected primitive ground defenses. Instead, they faced General Jae-won's rapid response units. Drones swarmed the Krell positions, feeding targeting data to human forces. Artillery rained down precise strikes. Mechanized units moved through the streets, using buildings for cover just as human ships used asteroids. The Krell warriors were strong and fearsome, but they had never faced an enemy that combined so many different tactics at once. Within 6 hours, the Krell ground force was eliminated. Similar stories played out in New York, Lagos, Mumbai, and Sydney. Every landing attempt failed. In space, the battle turned against the Krell. They had come expecting an easy victory. Instead, they found themselves outmaneuvered, outgunned, and fighting blind. After 3 days, 150 Krell warships were destroyed or so damaged they could barely move. The remaining 50 ships retreated to the edge of the system. Their commanders asked for a ceasefire to recover wounded and damaged ships. Admiral Bio-Ra stood on her bridge, looking at the tactical display. 30 human ships destroyed, thousands of her people dead. But Earth was safe. The Krell had been defeated. She could accept the ceasefire. Let the enemy retreat. Declare victory and rebuild, but she did not. Denied, she told the Krell commanders. You came to destroy our home. You murdered our civilians at New Pyongyang. There will be no ceasefire. Instead, she gave an order that surprised everyone, even her own officers. Prepare the fleet for faster-than-light jump. We are going to Krell space. On the council station, Ambassador Taesung received news of Admiral Bio-Ra's decision. The council chamber erupted in chaos. Species representatives shouted over each other. Going to Krell space? Attacking their territory? This was escalation beyond anything they expected. The humans have gone mad, the Krell diplomatic representative declared. This is an act of war. You came to their home system with 200 ships, Elder Vexler replied calmly. What did you call that? That was military action. This is invasion. Taesung stood and requested to speak. The chamber quieted, curious to hear the human perspective. Members of the council, Admiral Bio-Ra's fleet is not going to Krell space to conquer. They are going to ensure this never happens again. The Krell attacked us twice. If we simply defend, they will attack a third time. A fourth? They will never stop until they win or we are destroyed. So we changed the equation. By invading their territory? Demanded a council member from the militant Corvin species. By showing them the cost of attacking humans, Taesung replied. By making clear that we can reach their homes as easily as they reached ours. Not to destroy, not to conquer, but to ensure mutual deterrence. He paused, letting his words sink in. Humanity does not want war. We never did. But we will not be victims. The council warned you about us. Not because we are cruel, but because we are survivors. And survivors do what is necessary. Commander One-Shik led the human strike fleet toward Krell space. 75 ships, the fastest in the fleet, equipped with improved faster-than-light drives that were generations ahead of standard galactic technology. Humans had taken council designs and made them better. One-Shik was younger than Admiral Bio-Ra, only 41, but he had served in the colonial wars. He understood the psychology of warfare. It was not enough to defeat an enemy. You had to break their will to fight. How long until we reach Krell territory? He asked his navigation officer. 18 hours at current speed, sir. One-Shik nodded. 18 hours to plan. To prepare. To make sure his people understood the mission, he activated the fleet-wide communication. All ships, this is Commander One-Shik. I know some of you wonder why we go to Krell space. Some think we should stay home and defend. But defense alone never ends a war. It only delays the next battle. He paused, choosing his words carefully. We are not going to Krell space to destroy them. We are going to show them that attacking humanity has consequences. That we can reach their homes, their families, their worlds. We fight their military, not their civilians. We are not them. We are better. But we will make sure they understand leave humans alone or face us on your own ground. The fleet jumped to faster-than-light speed. Behind them, Admiral Bio-Ra remained at Earth, rebuilding defenses and coordinating with the damaged ships. The solar system was secure, but vigilance was necessary. The human strike fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel in Krell border space. The first system they entered was a Krell military outpost. One Sheik's ships appeared on sensors, and the Krell garrison prepared to defend. "Open a channel to the station," one Sheik ordered. "Channel open." "Sir?" "Krell garrison, this is Commander One Sheik of the Earth Defense Force. We are here to destroy military targets only. Evacuate all civilian personnel immediately. You have 2 hours." The Krell commander on the station did not believe him at first. No species gave warnings before attack. No one allowed enemies time to evacuate. It was unheard of, but One Sheik meant what he said. His ships held position for 2 hours. When time expired, civilian transports were still evacuating the station. One Sheik gave them another 30 minutes. Then, when the last civilian ship cleared the area, human weapons destroyed the military outpost. This pattern repeated across Krell space. Human ships appeared. They warned civilians. They waited for evacuation. Then they destroyed military targets, shipyards, supply depots, weapons platforms. Never civilian cities. Never population centers. And with every attack, they broadcast a message. Ms. Sun delivered that message. She was the diplomatic envoy traveling with One Sheik's fleet, a specialist in alien psychology. She understood how to speak to different species, how to craft words that would resonate. "People of the Krell," her message began, "we are not your enemy. Your military leaders attacked our home. They killed our civilians. They forced this war. But we do not blame you. We know that many Krell opposed the invasion. Many spoke against it. Your voices were ignored." The message played on every Krell communication channel, every screen, every broadcast station. "We fight your military, not you. We strike at those who started this war. But we could do more. We could destroy your cities, your homes, your families. We choose not to. We are not conquerors. We are defenders, and we offer you a choice." The message showed images of the destroyed military installations, the evacuated civilians safe and unharmed, the precision of human strikes. "Demand your leaders end this war. Demand they stop attacking humans, or we will continue to dismantle your military, piece by piece, until you have nothing left to attack us with." On Krell Prime, the homeworld, civilians watched these broadcasts. They saw human ships destroying military targets while sparing civilians. They saw the power humanity had and the restraint they showed. It was unlike anything the Krell had experienced. Their own military never showed such restraint. When the Krell conquered other species, they destroyed everything. Cities burned. Populations were enslaved. That was the Krell way, but humans were different. Stronger yet more controlled. Deadly yet merciful. It confused the Krell people. It made them question their leaders. Why did we attack them? Ordinary Krell citizens asked each other, why provoke such an enemy? The Krell High Command issued propaganda, claiming the humans were weak, that the defeats were temporary, that victory would come soon. But the people saw the truth. They saw their military installations destroyed. They saw their fleet broken. They saw humans in their space untouchable. Protests began on Krell Prime, small at first, then growing. Citizens demanded answers. Why did the military attack humans? Why were so many Krell warriors dying for a war no one wanted? Commander One Sheik received intelligence reports from Kyungsu's division. The cyber warfare teams had infiltrated deep into Krell communication networks. 6 months after the war ended, the Galactic Council convened in its great chamber once more. But this time, the atmosphere was different. Before, species had looked at humans with curiosity or contempt. Now they looked with caution. Some with respect. Many with fear. The chamber was full. Every species sent representatives. They all wanted to hear what the council would decide about the human question. Elder Vexter stood at the center platform, his ancient bark-like skin seeming even older now. The war had affected everyone, even those who did not fight. The war between humanity and the Krell Dominion has ended. Vexter announced. In 3 months of conflict, the Krell lost nearly their entire military fleet. Their government fell. Their people revolted. All because they ignored a simple warning. He paused, letting silence fill the chamber. This council warned Commander Kreth to fear humans. He laughed. He called humans weak. He believed their peaceful nature meant they could not fight. He was wrong, and thousands died because of that mistake. A representative from the Corvan species stood. Elder Vexter, with respect, the humans showed military capability beyond anything we knew. They hid their fleet. They developed advanced technology in secret. They invaded Krell space and destroyed their military. Should we not be concerned about such deception and aggression? Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Many species felt the same way. Humans had been too successful, too powerful, too dangerous. Ambassador Taesung sat in the human delegation area, listening. Beside him, Jiwoo remained alert, watching for any sign of threat. After the war, some species had proposed sanctions against humanity. Others suggested limiting human expansion. A few even whispered about military action to contain this new power. Ambassador Taesung, Vexter said. Would you address the council? Taesung stood and walked to the central platform. He looked older than he had 6 months ago. The war had aged everyone who lived through it. Members of the council, he began. I understand your concerns. Humanity revealed capabilities we had kept hidden. We built ships in secret. We developed weapons you did not know about. We fought a war with tactics that seemed ruthless and without honor. He paused, looking around the chamber. But let me remind you what actually happened. The Krell attacked us first. They destroyed a civilian mining station, killing 200 innocents. They invaded our home system with 200 warships. They tried to land armies on Earth to conquer our world. Everything we did was in response to aggression we did not start. You invaded their space, the Corvan representative countered. You destroyed their military infrastructure. You captured their commanders. That goes beyond defense, does it? Taesung asked. If we had only defended, the Krell would have attacked again. And again, until either they won or we were destroyed. We chose a third option. We made continuing the war too costly. We broke their ability and will to fight. And we did it while showing restraint the Krell themselves never showed. He activated a holographic display. It showed footage from the war. Human ships evacuating Krell civilians before destroying military targets. Medical teams treating Krell prisoners. Marines capturing rather than killing when possible. We could have destroyed Krell Prime, Taesung said quietly. We had the ships in orbit. We had the weapons. We could have reduced their cities to ash, just as they threatened to do to Earth, but we did not. We fought only their military. We harmed only those who chose to harm us. Is that not restraint? Is that not honor? The chamber fell silent. Even critics had to admit this was true. Humans had shown power and mercy together. It was a combination few species understood. Vexler spoke again. Ambassador Taesung, many council members wonder why humanity prepared for war while claiming to seek peace. Can you explain? Taesung nodded. We prepared because history taught us to prepare. On our world, we survived ice ages that killed most life. We survived plagues that devastated populations. We survived wars that nearly destroyed civilization. Each time we learned. We adapted. And the greatest lesson we learned was this: hope for peace, but prepare for war. He looked directly at the Corvan representative. You ask why we built ships in secret. Because we studied the galaxy and saw species like the Krell. We saw how they conquer. We saw how aggression is rewarded. We knew someone would eventually test us. So we prepared. Not to attack, but to survive. Is that wrong? Another representative stood. This one was from the Drayan, a peaceful species that had suffered under Krell aggression before. Ambassador Taesung, my people are grateful for what humans did. The Krell had occupied 3 of our colony worlds. When your fleet liberated them during the war, you could have claimed them for Earth. Instead, you returned them to us. Why? Because they were not ours, Taesung replied simply. We fought to defend ourselves and free those oppressed by the Krell, not to build an empire. Conquest is not our goal. Safety is, the Drayan representative bowed. Then my people propose an alliance with humanity. A defensive pact. We will stand together against aggression. As will we, said another voice. A representative from the Sylvari vex their own species. And the Corman Collective, added a third one by one. 5 species that had been liberated or protected during the war stood and offered alliance to humanity. Even some former Krell allies switched sides, no longer willing to support a failed conquering empire, but not everyone was pleased. This is exactly what concerns us, the Korvan representative said. Humans are building a power block. They are gathering allies. Soon they will be strong enough to challenge the council itself. Or strong enough to protect it, countered the Drayan representative. The Krell attacked 3 systems before humans stopped them. Where was the council? Where were the peacekeepers? It took humans to end Krell aggression. Arguments erupted across the chamber. Some species feared human power. Others saw humans as necessary allies. The galaxy was dividing into camps, and humans sat at the center of it all. Elder Vexter raised his arms, calling for silence. When the chamber quieted, he spoke with a voice that carried the weight of centuries. This council warned the Krell to fear humans. Not because humans are evil, not because they seek conquest, but because they are survivors. They adapt. They innovate. They never surrender. These qualities make them dangerous to enemies but valuable to friends. He turned to look at Taesung. The question before us is not whether humans are powerful. We know they are. The question is what they will do with that power. Ambassador, what does humanity want from the galaxy? Taesung thought carefully before answering. His words would shape human relations with every species for generations to come. We want what every species wants, he said finally. Safety for our people, prosperity for our worlds, the freedom to live without fear of conquest or destruction. We want to trade with our neighbors, learn from other cultures, and share what we know. We want peace, he paused. But we have learned that wanting peace is not enough. You must be strong enough to defend peace. You must be capable enough that others think twice before attacking you. Fear is not our goal, but respect is. And sometimes respect comes from knowing what someone can do if pushed too far. That sounds like a threat, said the Korvan representative. No, Taesung replied. It is a promise. Leave us alone, and we will leave you alone. Attack us, and we will defend ourselves completely. It is that simple. Vexler nodded slowly. Then I propose the Council recognize human space as sovereign territory. Any attack on human worlds will be considered an attack on the Council itself. And in return, humans will agree to Council oversight of their military expansion. Taesung frowned. Oversight? We do not need permission to defend ourselves. Not permission, Vexler clarified. Transparency. You proved you can hide your capabilities. That makes others nervous. If you want peace, show the galaxy you are not preparing for conquest. It was a reasonable compromise. Taesung knew it. The Council would not try to limit human strength, only understand it. And in return, humans would have official protection from aggression. Agreed, Taesung said. The Council voted. Not everyone supported the measure, but a majority did. Human space was officially recognized and protected. New alliances were formalized. The galaxy had changed. After the council session, Taesung returned to his quarters on the station. He was exhausted. 6 months of war and diplomacy had drained him. But there was still work to do. Ji Woo entered his office with a datapad. The latest reports from Admiral Biora. The fleet is mostly repaired. New ships are completing construction. And Captain Dongha has been promoted to Commodore for his actions at New Pyongyang. Taesung smiled. Good, he earned it. He took the datapad and reviewed the reports. The Earth Defense Force was stronger than ever. The war had taught hard lessons, but humans learned quickly. There is other news, Ruwu said. Misun reports from Krell Prime. The new civilian government is stable. They have agreed to war crimes trials for military leaders who ordered attacks on civilians. Commander Kreth will be tried first, and the Krell people? Adapting. The transition from military rule to civilian government is difficult. But Misun says many young Krell are questioning the old ways. They see what conquest brought them. They want something different. Taesung nodded. Change takes time. But at least there is a chance now.